Hey comrades, Craig Hester here. I'm here with Liang, my new partner, and we are really excited to be talking about our new brand that's launching in 2013. Zavtra means tomorrow in Russian. Why did we pick that? We want the brand's focus and energy and drive to be elegant meets military. It's modern but retro as well. So we're taking the retro inspirations but still creating a modern, effective timepiece for today. Russian-inspired, military-inspired timepieces. Wing and I collaborate on the designs. Obviously, Wing is the watch designer, as he has been for 20 years with Android, so the ultimate design of the watch, Wing is putting together, but we work together step by step to create the whole concept. The very first piece that we've created is called the T-37, and that's actually named for the first ever true amphibious tank, which was a Russian tank. And actually the dial on this watch is inspired by the tank's dashboard clock. And this is actually a manual wind 5-day clock that's in the Russian tanks. And you'll see this in the dial work on the chapter ring. Everything was inspired by this. The bracelet is inspired by the tank tracks. We're following the model that has been so successful with the Russian watches, and that's where we start with an inspiration, in this case the T-37 tank, and build the watch around that inspiration. With one little twist that's a little different on ours. You're going to see on every single Zavtra going forward, there will always be this little, almost like lightning bolt with an arrow on the end of it. This comes from the Yak-9 plane, which is a Russian plane, which was the original inspiration. I had the Yak-9 plane in my mind as the overall inspiration for the brand. So we decided that since that's kind of was where the impetus came from, we're always going to have that little symbol somewhere on the timepiece.
Well, as you can see, most of the designs are more on the military side. Craig supplied me with all the inspirations, and then I just use my tool and design the cases, the dial, the hands, combining both, but still using the facility that we have, building a very high quality watch case, bracelet, dials, also using superluminova for the hands, such as the first hand link with the bracelet is super tight and the bezel are super tight. Movements, we're going to use Miyota 9000 series. We're going to use ESA chronograph movement. And also, one of my favorite is the Seagull mechanical TY3600, which is the same architecture as the Unitest 6497, but make it more affordable. Like Craig said, the design of this whole line is military meets elegance. It's going to be a whole new world, not in the Android category.
And not in the category of any of the current Russians that I bring in. This is a whole new,
yes, absolutely,
kind of a blending. It's taking a little bit from everywhere and creating something new.
Yeah, but it's still very focused.
Yes.
If you look at the case, you look at both cases that we're going to introduce, the T-37 case, it's using the same base case, but the bezel are the only difference, and it completely gives you a new look. Such as this one right here, okay? It's more on the pilot style, right? This one right here is more on the military, the dive-looking style. So you have both, both worlds meeting together. Whereas I believe this is an incredible collection. I've never done anything like this.
And neither have I, of course.
Yeah, I've never designed watches that is very bold. Elegance meets military, or military meets elegance.
And a perfect example of that, is this one here with the mother of pearl. I've never seen anything where you're seeing the battlefield look, but yet with the beauty of a mother of pearl dial. All of the design elements are drawn from the inspiration. Again, in this case, the tank tracks are the inspiration for the way the bracelet is designed. The tank clock is the inspiration for the chapter ring. The way the coin edge bezel with the screws are inspirations from the mechanical pieces of the tank itself. Every piece we produce is going to have an inspiration and a backstory just like this one. We actually etched the tank on the back Zavtra's slogan, always tomorrow, and it means tomorrow in Russian. The dial on this is the only limited edition of the collection. The dial here, Wing used the inspiration of the actual armor of the tank. That shaping on the dial is inspired from the tank armor. So the whole throughput of design and styling is going to be tied back to the inspiration.
I've done a little military style to the Android line, but I think it's more suitable to create a new brand, and the whole focus is into military, you know, tank, dive, pilot style. I think those are the main three focus for Zavtra in the future. And we're just introducing the first case using the T-37, the amphibian tank. But there are more going to come in the future. The next one we're going to focus is the fighter jet, right?
We're looking at the TU Bear,
Yeah.
and we're also looking at the AN-2, which was the only biplane to still be being used in the 21st century. So it's going to be, those are the kind of inspirations that are going to be tied to the watches. And we'll be pulling out elements. It may be some of the instrumentation from the cockpit. It might be the way the turbines are on a particular engine. All of those mechanical pieces we're using tying back to the inspirations. But I think Wing made a good point earlier that we want this to still have the top quality materials and movements and so forth that you've become accustomed to from Android. It's the same production, it's the same quality of production. These are 500-meter timepieces. You're seeing that now. Several people have asked me already, you know, well, we're not seeing Russian movements, or how can you call this a Russian watch? First of all, I want to make it absolutely clear. This isn't a Russian watch. We're not pretending this is a Russian watch. These are Russian and military-inspired watches. We're taking my 20 years of involvement in both collecting and selling Russian watches and the experience I have with that, working with these multiple manufacturers and how much I know about how they've been building watches, what their inspirations are, and bringing that to something new. At some point we may come in with a Russian movement, but that's not the point of this. The point of this is not to try to mimic a Russian timepiece or mimic Russian horology. The point is to use that as an inspiration to create something entirely new.